Hello, I am Chastity White Rose, and this video is unplanned. And when I say that this video is unplanned, I mean that I did not plan on recording this video when I came home from work. It's something that I was sort of suddenly happened because I was thinking about things while I was at work, and I've been very emotional lately with everything going on, this whole coronavirus thing and all the chaos that the country's in right now. But it just so happened that a few days ago, I was searching on YouTube for movie reviews. Now, I had recently watched the Twilight series, and all 5 of the movies of the Twilight series, and then I came across some interesting reviews. In fact, there's this guy named Alex Meyer who does the most hilarious reviews of those movies and points out everything wrong in them, which is very easy to do. However, while I was looking at that, in the suggestions, there's all these things about other movie reviews, and including people reviewing other movies such as God's Not Dead. Now, obviously, anybody who knows me knows that I believe that God's Not Dead was probably the worst Christian movie ever made. And I've watched a lot of Christian movies, mind you. I used to be a Christian. I'm an atheist now. However, one of the reviewers of the films by Pure Flix Studios, there's actually a studio called Pure Flix, and they make a lot of Christian movies. However, one thing that caught my attention was the mention of the movie Unplanned. And I want to show you, I bought and watched this movie Unplanned along with my mom. I bought the DVD. And I had previously read the book. Now, this is important to understand that I had, as soon as I knew what abortion was, I was pro-life. In fact, people who have followed me in just the past few years may not really realize how big a part of my life this has been. Now, what I'm about to tell you in this video is not meant to convince you that abortion is wrong or that it should be illegal, which of course I believe those things. But there's something that just hit me today. Something just really hit me, and this is the weirdest thing. It occurred to me how there are so many opinions that are minority opinions. They're not necessarily minority opinions, but there's a minority of people who are given a platform to say anything because people are being censored. Censorship is absolutely crazy. Now, here's the thing. In my time as a pro-life activist, one thing I have repeatedly noticed over and over is that people stereotype people who are pro-life as Christians. It is just automatically assumed that that the whole pro-life movement comes from Christianity. In fact, even the scientist, what was that guy's name? Jerry Coyne, said in one of his speeches that without religion we wouldn't even have the anti-abortion movement, and which was a really, really dumb thing to say, I think, because people have just over and over repeatedly assumed that pro-lifers are all Christians. And people have also in the past assumed that people who are against vaccination are all Christians. It seems like whenever there's an opinion that I happen to believe myself or that I agree with, it is one of those opinions that the mainstream media is telling people that it's Christians, that Christians are behind the anti-vax movement, and Christians are pro-life, and that it's all because of Christianity. And here I am, just this, vegan, anti-vax, pro-life atheist here, and I hear these things, and I'm like, what nonsense is this? Because I don't like stereotypes. I really don't like stereotypes. Just as I've always hated the fact that people assume things about me because I was born male. They assume that I want to have sex with women and date them, and they assume that I like cars and sports. I've talked a lot about the concept of gender. I've talked a lot about that. I don't want to get too sidetracked on the gender thing, but anyone who has listened to me talk about the gender thing and the transgender thing knows that I hate stereotypes. I hate the assumption that, all people of a certain skin color or biological sex or of a certain religious belief all act X, Y, and Z. I hate these stereotypes. Now, even I have made the mistake in the past of stereotyping Christians. Now, to be sure, stereotypes exist for a reason. As I was recently telling a Facebook friend, stereotypes exist for a reason because there are certain trends, obviously, that tend to be true about a certain group. And somebody could easily look at the whole population of the United States of America and stereotype us all, because there are certain things that happen in America, such as the fact that most Americans are Christian, most Americans are overweight or obese, and a lot of Americans are selfish. I mean, people could stereotype us. There's a stereotypical American of a very religious and fat and selfish American. And to be fair, that's the way a lot of Americans are. But whenever we stereotype people who live in a certain country or all have a certain skin color or whatever, we're making the same mistake. Sexism, racism, speciesism, people make these things. And I think it's important to mention right now that people, all this Black Lives Matter stuff is going on, and people are think that police are racist, and and people have pointed out all the times when police officers have treated black people unfairly, and that's because there are police officers that stereotype black people. There are a lot of people who assume that anyone with dark skin is a criminal. I'm not going to deny that racism exists. Absolutely, racism exists. But now things have gotten freaked out where if you have light skin, if you're Caucasian, then you're assumed to be evil. You're assumed to be racist just because you're white. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the stereotypes. But anyway, back to the Unplanned movie and a book and the abortion topic. Because it occurred to me, what's going on? I realized that I've mentioned this before in the podcasts I've done with people. There has been an agenda against Christianity for a long time. There has been. If you pay any attention, you'll notice that certain groups are targeting Christianity. And here's the deal. You have to understand, take it from the perspective of an ex-Christian atheist. I do not like the religion of Christianity because I think it's false. I also think it can lead to some very immoral behavior, some of the whack beliefs that people have. And there's certainly some bad things in the Bible you could base your life off of. So don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of the Christian religion. So this is why I'm qualified to speak on this topic. I'm not a fan of Christianity. I've been hurt by Christianity, so you have to understand I'm not a defender of it by any means. However, here is what is going on. The reason that there has been more and more mockery of Christianity, even in mainstream movies and TV shows, and the reason that people have been pushing evolution and pushing homosexuality and transgenderism, all these different types of things. Now, yes, I do believe in evolution by natural selection, and yes, there are transgender and gay people. I happen to identify as transgender myself, and I feel like I'm a woman inside. But that's a whole other thing for another day. But the point is, there is a specific reason why these things are promoted, because these things conflict with a lot of teachings of Christianity. It's well known that yes, the people who don't believe in evolution are usually Christians, yeah, and Christianity does seem to be behind a lot of the anti-homosexuality views, obviously, and that's because yes, there is stuff in the Bible about that. But here's what's happening: the media and the government and society in general is pushing things. They're pushing evolution. They're pushing LGBT stuff. Even though I'm not against LGBT people and I'm not against evolution, there is a continued push to indoctrinate people and push this stuff in their face all the time. And I think that the reason for this has a lot to do with, diminishing belief in Christianity, because the more people you can convince that evolution is true, and the more people that you can convince that it's okay or even cool to be gay, and transgender, gay and trans pride and all that stuff, the more you push this, the more at odds people are with Christians who they see as a threat. So here's the thing, is that it just seems too obvious there is a push to wipe Christianity out of America. And whether it's out of a hatred of Christianity or even Christians themselves, or whether it's about money and about global control, it's really, really hard to know which way it goes, because first of all, you have to understand that Planned Parenthood, which, keep in mind, Abby Johnson, this is the real Abby Johnson on the cover of her book, who used to work at Planned Parenthood. But when she truly saw how evil the organization was and how evil abortion was, she got out. And now she works to help people come out of the abortion industry. And so I've read her book. I've watched the movie, which is played by this actress on the cover of this, obviously, So I know a lot about Abby Johnson. I know a lot about abortion. I know a lot about Planned Parenthood. And let me tell you, I don't like Planned Parenthood. I don't like abortion, and people know this about me. But anyway, the reason I'm bringing all of this up is very important. See, by promoting things that conflict with Christianity, I think there's an agenda going on. First of all, because they falsely believe that only Christians and only people who are Christians and believe in God and the Bible and all that sort of thing are the ones against abortion. So what I think we have pro-abortion or pro-choice activists, I don't care what you call them, they're all the same to me, who are trying to get rid of Christianity, because by getting rid of Christianity, they think that they are wiping out the opposition to abortion. They think they're wiping out the opposition to vaccines also, if they target Christians. And to be sure, I have noticed a link between Christianity and people who are anti-vax, people who are anti-abortion. However, obviously, not all people who are anti-abortion or all people who question vaccines are Christian. Obviously, that's not true, yet that's what the mainstream media wants you to believe. So I hope people follow what I'm saying here, because I've thought about this for a long time. I've observed things for a long time. Now keep in mind, yeah, like I said, I don't like the Christian religion, but I do see an agenda going on here. And I do not want Christians treated unfairly. Um, I don't want them being discriminated against any more than white people, black people, Muslims, Jews, trans people, gay people, straight people, whatever. I don't want anybody being discriminated against. I don't want anyone being treated bad. So obviously, I'm against all of these isms: sexism, racism, speciesism. Everybody needs to be vegan. Like I've said before, the reason I'm a vegan is because I simply am not a speciesist. That I view other species matter. It's not just Black Lives Matter, but all lives matter. And anyone who says all lives matter needs to seriously consider becoming vegan, or they're being a hypocrite. So anyway, but I've talked about all these different things before, and I just want people to be aware of what's going on here. There is an agenda against Christianity, and I think it's connected with the agenda to push certain things by people who want to make money off of abortions, people who want to make money off of vaccines, people who want to make all kinds of money and also have political control. Because if you look at it, what we have going on here, if you look at political ads, which I try not to, but I see political ads, even on the TV in the break room at work. I can't help but notice that the politicians, they're all talking about them being conservative and pro-life and Christian and all this stuff. People use Christianity as a reason you should vote for them. People like, oh well, I'm a Christian, therefore you should vote for me. It's weird. So Christianity and other religions, for that matter, have become mixed with politics, and it becomes a thing where people vote for people based on their religious affiliation, which is why politicians who are not Christians even will pretend that they're Christians just to win votes. So basically, you're all being lied to. You're all being duped, and that's just the thing. And I'm an outside observer. I don't vote in politics. I'm no longer a Christian, but I grew up in Christianity, and I know a lot of what's wrong with Christianity. And people are going to be offended at me saying that who are Christians, but it's what I've seen. It's my experience. I'm just telling my truth here, okay? But here's the thing. Of all the things I've noticed, I have seen one thing. Christians, at least in my country, United States of America, Christians often are the only ones with the backbone, or the spine, or whatever, or the balls if you prefer, you know what I mean? Or the guts, however you say it. Often it seems that Christians are the only group who has the courage and also the money to produce films like Unplanned. When you think about it, yes, pretty much all of the pro-life movies that I've seen are produced by Christians. Well, when you think about it, it makes sense, because yes, there are a lot of people who are both Christians, the majority of people in the America, and there are a lot of people who are pro-life, But then, churches and Christians, they have the money because there's quite a lot of following. I mean, people will donate money, people will put money. Let's just say that the Christians have more money than atheists in general, because atheists are not a united movement. So Christians do have more influence than atheists in this country, I believe. And it will probably always be that way. And there's reasons. I just think it's obvious that more people will always believe in God than not. Just like I believe more people will be heterosexual than homosexual. I think there are some reasons for that, but that's another theory for another day. But the point is, because you see that a lot of movies like Unplanned and other movies, are done by Christians, people get a skewed view and think that it's only because someone's a Christian that they are pro-life or whatever else it may be, or that they only are against gay marriage because they're Christian. And I think we really need to stop the stereotype thing, Yes, stereotypes have some validity. Sometimes they seem to be true, which is why they've persisted, of course. But people are still individuals who have their own beliefs that do not necessarily match a stereotype. And here I am, one who no longer believes in Christianity and am a believer and promoter of a lot of things that are considered to be anti-Christian views. But you know what? After a while, I'm fed up with the agenda against Christianity. And it seems, and this is so ironic, but it seems pretty much all of my co-hosts, that I currently do podcasts with, also are Christians, or at least some type of Christian. I don't know, but they believe in God, they talk about the Bible, all this sort of thing. And then all the co-hosts that I used to do podcasts with that were non-religious and who were atheists or agnostic, I dumped them. I dumped them because they did not like my pro-life views, and they wanted me to vote for Hillary Clinton. And I'm like, no, I'm not voting for Hillary. She's pro-abortion. And they're like, that's just one issue. And I'm like, yeah, it's one issue where I greatly disagree with Hillary Clinton. So I got fed up with my former co-hosts telling me who to vote for. And I got fed up with their sexist views. Not all of them, mind you. There are a few of them that I keep in contact with to this day. But the group that I used to do the Free Will, Science, and Religion podcast and the Impersonal Opinion and stuff like that, pretty much I don't really talk to them on a regular basis anymore. And part of it was because I got busy and life took over. But part of it, I was just really pissed off at them. And we had some major fights. And I'm just going to say it. George isn't going to like it, but he and I had a fight about something, and he said some very insulting things to me as a pro-lifer. And he was insulting me, saying that I was not a defender of women because I called them murderers for abortions. First of all, I never went around calling women murderers. Yes, I do believe abortion is murder, but he just mischaracterized the whole thing. But anyway, the bottom line, and I do want to find a way to end this, but the bottom line is I don't care what you think about me. I don't care what you think about my views, but there is something going on here. There is some kind of agenda against Christianity, and there is certainly some kind of agenda by people with money and power, and I can't also help but think that part of the reason that they're attacking Christianity and trying to find ways through mainstream media and people's entertainment to dismiss and turn people against Christianity more and more has to also do with control. Because if you want to control a population, you need to take away their faith. You need to take away their hope. Now keep in mind, just because I believe Christianity to be false, and I don't really believe that there's a God or a Jesus, that doesn't mean that other people don't have faith in it. That doesn't mean that other people don't get hope from that belief. And sometimes their belief in Christianity is the only thing that gives them the strength to go on living. Because life is hard, And I don't want to take that away from them. So if you're one of those people that your whole life is centered around Christianity and that's where you get your hope from, then you've come to the wrong YouTube channel or wherever you're seeing this video, because I'm certainly not for Christianity. But I recognize that's a source of strength for a lot of people. And that is all that a lot of them have. And that's because you don't get hope from atheism. I know that by experience. I do have hope and I do have faith in other things that have nothing to do with Christianity or atheism. I just find that atheism is better because you can have any beliefs, just about any beliefs you want, and be an atheist. The only thing being atheist means is that I don't believe in a God as the creator of the universe, like people of different religions do, necessarily. But that's all it means. I'm still pro-life. I'm still vegan, something that a lot of Christians, unfortunately, are not. Seriously, why are Christians not vegan? The golden rule, people. Jesus taught it. Like, seriously, it's always blown my mind that some of the biggest defenders of killing animals for meat or other purposes call themselves Christians. And yes, you can point to the Old Testament and point to God ordering the slaughter of animals, which is one of the reasons I really hate the Bible. Because people will justify animal killing using the Old Testament all the time. But if you follow the golden rule and you understand those animals are others, just like you, and that their lives matter, then you will be vegan. That's just a simple fact. And I swear, so many people have told me that I'm more Christ-like, or I act more like what a Christian should be than people who call themselves Christians. I have been told this by so many people. Even my co-host Monique, who says I'm spiritual. I still don't know what exactly she means, but I have just noticed a trend of people, they see my life and they think that's the way that Christians ought to be. That's what Jesus would do. There are people who think this about me, even though I don't even believe in God. I'm not a Christian, but people see my ethical behavior and that I do care about the lives of others and that I do my best to live a moral life. And then when people find out that I'm an atheist, they're confused. In fact, I went to Rachel House one time. It's a pro-life crisis pregnancy center. You may have heard of Rachel House. One time I visited a Rachel House and I talked to the lady there and I just explained who I am and how I'm pro-life, but that I don't believe in God, And she says, well, if you don't believe in God, why are you pro-life? She was so confused by a pro-life atheist. And believe me, there are a lot of other pro-life atheists. They just aren't given a platform to speak their views like Christians have, So it's very weird. But anyway, and she actually gave me the book written by Carol Everett, Blood Money. So I have that book as well. It wasn't as good as Unplanned. But anyway, that's just the thing is, I've realized people are so confused when they find out I'm an atheist. And it doesn't matter whether or not I agree with the beliefs of Christians. That's not really what matters. What matters is that I do try to follow the golden rule and treat others as I want to be treated. And I do believe in freedom of speech. Which is why, even though I disagree with 99% of what my co-hosts are saying in a lot of the podcasts that I do recently, because it's religiously based, a lot of this stuff. But I believe in their right to say what they believe. I believe that Christians should have the right to speak their beliefs and what their life is about just as much as I do. That's all that really matters, is that I follow the golden rule and treat others as I want to be treated. That's what I do, and that's what I believe. And I've said that for years, not that anybody listens, but I just really wanted to get all this out. I just really wanted to share this information, about the agenda against Christians. And I just want people to remember that, yes, I'm still pro-life. I still don't like abortion. And I have my opinions on that, but I'm not one to debate political or religious topics. And I'm not about to get into an abortion debate with people, which, although it's not political in and of itself, I think that abortion should not be political. I think it should be something we can discuss calmly, like whether or not the earth is flat or round. Like, why can't people have a calm discussion and debate on abortion? I'll tell you why. Because it's very emotional. And it gets me emotional. And I know that I will never convince anyone that abortion is wrong. Nor do I think that I have all the answers for how things should be handled if abortion is made illegal, or even how that would work. I'm not the expert on that topic. I only have my own beliefs, but the point here is, no matter what anybody tries to say, no matter how many people insult me, no matter how many people say horrible things about me or try to censor me, I'm still always going to let people know where I stand on abortion or any other topic. And you're not gonna change me just by insulting me. I've had people defriend me. I've had people turn against me for being pro-life, for being vegan, for being anti-vax, for being an atheist. I've had people turn against me who didn't like something I said, but you know what? All I ever did was type something on Facebook or in a blog post or say something in a video, and then people are angry at me for saying what I believe and sharing my opinion. That's all I've done, is share my opinion. But people are angry. People are angry at me, and people, they just don't like me. And you know why they don't like me? Because I'm just real. I'm unfiltered, I'm raw and organic and vegan. I'm just me. I say what I believe. I say what I think, what I want to say, without stopping and thinking, oh, well, if I say this, then somebody might call me racist, and that would be the end of the world. You know what? I'm a very emotional person, but I'm not a pushover. You can't just manipulate my emotions by saying bad things about me and making false accusations. People have done that to me all my life. It hasn't changed anything. You can upset somebody by insulting them, but you're still not going to change my views. And although I don't talk much about the topic of abortion these days, nor do I really have any plans to make it a main topic of discussion, because I do believe there are more important things to discuss than the abortion topic. Because I view the abortion issue as a symptom rather than a root cause of what's really wrong in America and the whole world. And it comes down to people are uneducated, people are ignorant, people are selfish, and people are just too plain tired to learn new things and question what they've been taught by their churches and their schools and their parents and whatever. And I'm in this unique position because here I'm single, I'm celibate, I live alone. I have the unique ability to be who I am and say what I feel, and I don't have to worry about a spouse leaving me. I don't have to worry about kids or wife. I don't have to worry about those types of things. Being a single virgin living alone has a lot of benefits. It allows me to be very real about things in a way that other people are just not real. I'm just real. I tell the truth. And Monique once told me, I'm a ball of truth. So there you have it. I'm a ball of truth. I've had my rant. I feel a lot better now. I didn't plan on doing this video, but I really had a lot to say. So thanks for listening. Whoever cares about this? But I said what needed to be said. Now, if I die of coronavirus or someone murders me for something I've said, well, at least I've said it. You've heard it. End of story. Goodbye, everybody.